Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Moore and thank you for joining us virtually for the Scarlet and Gray Excellence Learning Community Information Session. So today we are going to be talking about the benefits you'll receive being in the learning community, what to expect this upcoming year, and then our expectations for you as a student. So for starters, I'm going to introduce myself. Like I said, my name is Ashley Moore. I work as an academic success coach and learning community coordinator here in the Office of Retention Student Success Initiatives for the Center for Student Success. That's a lengthy title, so I'll get into what that really means here in a moment. But to give you a little more information about me, I did go to school here for all 4 years. I spent my undergrad here the entire time. I did graduate in 2020. I received my bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in sociology, and then also received an associate's degree as well. During my first year, I was a first-gen student, so that means I was the first in my family to receive a bachelor's degree and to attend college, and wasn't really sure what I wanted to do major-wise or, coming to campus. I was a little bit lost during my first year, so trying to find a group that I connected with took some time. And then, during my second year, I decided to get a student employment job through the Office of Retention Student Success Initiatives as an academic peer coach. And I was an academic peer coach for 3 years. It kind of transitioned to a lead coach position and then an office assistant during my last year here at with the learning communities. So I have a little bit of background, even though I graduated in 2020 working with the learning communities. The Scarlet and Gray Excellence Learning Community is a new learning community that I'm taking on. So once I, graduated, I decided I really liked higher education. I liked working with students, mentoring students, helping get students connected to different resources on and off campus and building that rapport. So I decided to come back, and now I oversee 4 of our learning communities here on campus as the coordinator for those programs, and then I work as a liaison for 2 other faculty-led learning communities too. And then as an academic success coach through our office, I meet with students on a one-on-one personal basis to discuss, personal academic goals, barriers, and challenges they might be working through. You can see our office in between counseling and advising. It's not fully one or the other, but we do a little bit of both while we're, meeting with students during that time. So I might meet students for personal items or academic items. To give you examples on what personal things might be, I could be meeting with a student that's going through financial issues. So maybe their car broke down and they need, funds to be able to get to and from school or work or what other obligations they have outside of, being on campus, and, get them an emergency grant. I might meet with students that are facing food insecurity, housing issues, or, even mental health related things, because as we know, your mental health definitely plays a huge part in how you're doing academically, and it takes place off campus and on campus. It's something that's consistent. And then academic-wise, I work with students to build test-taking strategies, note-taking skills, time management, procrastination, stress management, all of those items. I would say from my experience, one of the things students struggle with during their first year as a college student is getting a good time management plan, worked out, and then also they face procrastination issues because you're not in school all day from, when you were in high school. You're now having a lot more gaps in your schedule, classes are spread out, and you're solely relying on yourself to make sure you're keeping up with the syllabus and doing well in your course and communicating with instructors and any staff members here on campus. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but for now, my contact information is on this. So you can reach me at more.3541@osu.edu, which is my email. Don't email at buckeyemail.osu.edu. It goes to my student account, and I don't always get that in a timely manner. My office is Warner Center. It's upstairs near the faculty offices, and it's 239. You can always feel free to stop by. If my door is closed, knock. If I'm not there, you can always send me an email. And then my phone number is there. I prefer that you email me first, just because I'm not always in my office. So calling me, you might not get a quick response, but email, I have that on my phone, so I'm always, readily able to be reached. So that is a little bit about me. On the next slide, we're going to be talking more about getting into learning communities and expectations and things like that. So thinking about what a learning community is, there's several reasons a student might join a learning community. So think about why you applied for the SAGE learning community and what was the purpose that you would hope to gain during your first year. I know some students might join for community, they might join because of the academic scholarship you receive, they might join because they relate and they like the mission of the learning community. Each of our learning communities has a special mission or purpose behind it, so we're going to talk a little bit more about what the SAGE learning community represents and more specifically like what a learning community is and what kind of makes a learning community. But as we're going through this, think about why you joined the SAGE learning community and what we can do to better support you during your first year. So by definition, a learning community is a group of students that have some characteristics as far as similar major, background, or interest, and they meet and work together on a regular basis, whether that's in class or they're attending events or during our arts and science course as well. So for specifically SAGE, their mission is to make sure that we're providing support to underrepresented students and connecting them in academic success through, creating a sense of belonging academically and personally. So we focus a lot on multicultural education, self-awareness, and we try to focus on, developing leadership skills through your first year and respecting others' differences as well as learning about other differences. The SAGE learning community has been around for a bit, so we do keep tabs on how students like the program, what we can improve upon constantly. These are some of our common quotes that we get every year, but I believe these ones from a few years ago. So I enjoyed getting to know people from different backgrounds. I made great friendships that will carry on to the Columbus campus, and the study tables helped me when I needed the extra push or guidance. And I will say specifically on friendships I will carry to the Columbus campus. Once you're connected with students that are either going through the similar major, background, or interest that you have, these are relationships that are going to last even after college. And then specifically, I know several students that were, made really good friendships this past year, and now they have roommates for when they go to the Columbus campus, and they're joining organizations together, they got apartments together. So starting in the Scarlet and Gray Excellence Learning Community will kind of build that community for you that carries on even after you leave the program. So expectations we have for SAGE students, and I will say before I get into each of these bullet points, our expectations are based off of things that we know are going to be beneficial for you during your first year. And so while I get into the PowerPoint in more depth, we'll go over each of these things and why they're important. But for starters, register and attend the SAGE courses for fall and spring semester and engage academically in those courses. What this is basically saying is don't just register and show up occasionally, or if you show up, don't, keep to yourself. The purpose of us putting you in a community course together where you're taking it with your peers is in hopes that you're going to actively engage and ask, reach out to the instructor, reach out to our staff, and then also, collaborate and work together with your peers within that course. Consent to share information with campus professionals. So what this basically means is as your academic success coach and the learning community coordinator for SAGE, we kind of keep tabs on how you're doing academically, how you're doing personally, and it allows us to be able to have conversations between your faculty and then our team to see, are there ways that we can provide support, or are there things that you're doing really well that we can congratulate you on? It could also even mean if we schedule a one-on-one appointment between us, if you come to me for personal or academic things, whether it's something you want to do as a goal or achieve during your first year, or maybe a barrier you might be struggling with that you need support on, I can reach out to different resources on or off campus to be able to support you during that time. Attend SAGE and all learning community events outside of class. I have a slide specifically for our learning community events that I'll get into, but we do expect that you would be available and participate in the events that we hold every month. And then take advantage of study tables. So I also have a slide on that I'll go into more depth with. And then connect with your academic peer coach and academic success coach. So I'll be your academic success coach. You'll also get an academic peer coach, which I believe is on another slide as well. So this is someone that has either been through the program themselves or they've demonstrated that they've done well academically and that they're involved on campus. Now we're going to move into what do you get being a learning community student. So one of our expectations is that you attend our learning community events, but it's also a benefit for you. So these are activities that we host every month that allow you to build connections within, have your peers, your faculty, the staff, and it allows you to network. We know by research that students that are attending events just outside of coming and going to class do better academically as far as GPA and graduation rates. So that is why we require you to make sure you're getting connected within your community that you're in. And then we do require you to attend at least one cultural, one social event. This is in hopes that, you know, during those events you're connecting and getting out of your comfort zone to learn new things, have fun, and meet your peers. So one cultural and one social event during fall and spring semester. And we tell you what specifically counts as a cultural and social event. You are not also only obligated to go to learning community events, although it's encouraged since we plan them for you. You can attend other events on campus or even on the Columbus campus as well. So some of our cultural events we've had for SAGE specifically have been, we do images of success, so we invite individuals of underrepresented backgrounds that are staff or faculty here on campus to talk about their experience, how they got where they are, and things like that. We also have a all learning community cultural dinner where students are invited to bring a dish from their culture or their family that is important to them and tell us a little bit more about it. It's kind of a potluck style event. I really enjoy it because we get to try all kinds of different foods and learn more about where our students are from. And then each of our staff members brings a plate as well. And then we have social events, so you'll see here over on the left side, we have different things that we've done. One of them is tie-dye that we do every year. We also do pumpkin painting event, which I think is that bottom photo, where students RSVP towards the end of the fall semester. It's around exams, and we paint pumpkins. We get to do a bunch of different activities as well during that time. But we have a bunch of different events that we host every month, and you only have to attend 2 per semester, so 4 in total for the entire year. Here's a few more pictures from some of our events this past year. As you see, we do have the pumpkin painting event in the top left. Students were able to have a competition afterwards, see who had the best pumpkin. We had a We Love OSU event where actually a student in our BGLC learning community had their own bakery, so we decided for one of our peers, one of our BGLC students, and a small family-owned company where they brought in different desserts and students were able to try it while they made Buckeye necklaces. And then students do take a experiential learning trip, so this is a trip in correlation with your environmental science course you take in the fall semester, where we go to Stone Lab. It's a small lab that's owned by Ohio State near Put-in Bay up towards Cleveland area by Lake Erie, and we go and we stay over the weekend. So keep in touch with that. I was able to take SAGE students last year during the fall semester and they loved it. We had a campfire. They got to learn more about the lab and do different experiments. They were also able to go on a boat and catch fish and things like that. And that leads me to our summer social event that we're going to be having Thursday, July 20th from 5 to 7:30 in McConnell Hall. It will be in the Jones Event Center, so right when you walk into the dorms. We will have food and several games and different activities for you to get to know your peers. Faculty are invited as well, and so we hope that you'll be there. It's not a required event. It won't count towards your social or cultural attendance since it's before the grading period, but this is more of a meet and greet. That way you can get to know your peers and staff before the semester starts when things get a little bit crazy and you're very busy trying to figure out what your new schedule looks like. And then one of our other benefits is that you get study tables. So these are initially they're tutoring sessions, but we call them supplemental instruction sessions that are peer facilitated. So these are for the SAGE courses you'll take. So you'll have one for environmental science and then one for sociology in the spring. They're led by our academic peer coaches. They are required to attend the courses during the week. So when you're sitting in sociology, they'll be in sociology. When you're in environmental science, they'll be in environmental science. That way they're hearing the same material that you're hearing every week. They do complete a tutor training through this accredited program that we have on the Newark campus during the summer term, and then they continue that training throughout the year that they are an academic peer coach. We do, during those sessions, faculty do meet with the peer coaches one-on-one each week to talk more about, like, you know, what are students struggling with material-wise, what are some resources that students can utilize outside of class that'll help them understand the material better, and then even maybe tips on what might be on the exams or final projects that our instructors are looking for. So the academic peer coach will then plan out a study table and hold them each week for an hour where students can come collaborate with each other and get peer-to-peer support during those sessions. So we typically the faculty will incentivize extra credit as well, so you will get extra points for attending those study tables. I will say that the students that are attending study tables or taking advantage of tutoring are usually the students that probably don't necessarily need it, but they know that it's going to enhance what they're doing in class and allow their memory to retain it a little bit better. So I do encourage you to start those earlier on and be proactive versus reactive. One of our most exciting benefits for the SAGE learning community is our academic scholarship students receive during the first year. So you do receive $500. It's divided in half between $250 for fall and spring semesters, and you use them for academic supplies. So one of our requirements is that you do have to purchase your SAGE textbook. So in fall, you would be required to spend that $250 on the environmental science book, and then in spring, you pay for the sociology textbook as well. All the other funds can be used towards other textbooks or any other academic supplies you might need. And then for the arts and science course that you take, you do not need a required textbook as well. We do have more information on how to use that academic scholarship on the website, but we'll also be sending out an email. You will not have access to your funds until the beginning towards August, so be sure to keep an eye on your email. Don't purchase textbooks before you receive the email that your academic funding has been used. The best way I can describe it is almost like you receive a credit in the bookstore downstairs in Warner, and you go in, you'll have your Buckeye ID, you tell them that you're in SAGE and that you need a textbook for sociology or whatever, environmental science, and then show them the instructor, and then the bookstore people that work in there will help you find the textbook, and then they'll use that credit and they'll subtract whatever you gave them from the $250, and then if you have a credit, you'll be able to use that for whatever other textbooks or academic things that you might need. Additional benefits that we have are academic peer coaches, which I mentioned earlier. They provide peer-to-peer support, and they help you get, connected on campus, find resources, and even off campus, you might be able to go to them and see like what you can eat around campus, things like that. So these are students that have done well academically. They might have been in the program themselves and they've been involved on campus. So we know that they are a good mentor for you during your first year because they are also going through classes themselves. They came up with a good time management schedule that works for them. They know what works inside the classroom, what doesn't, what resources have helped them, and they're kind of that go-to person when you have questions or need support. We also have workshop and lab sessions, so a lot of these things, so navigating resources, time management, critical thinking, learning strategies, test-taking strategies, stress management, and leadership skills are something that my office oversees, but we incorporate this in the Arts and Science Group Studies course through different activities and things that we'll be doing. So you'll get strengthened, workshop lab sessions on all of these items. And then I partner with campus resources and different things on campus to build connections with staff and faculty. So we have guest speakers. If you want a meeting with someone here or on the Columbus campus, you have easy access to be able to do that through talking with me because we have that partnership as well. So for the SAGE learning community, our program has been around since 2018. Those that have been in the learning community demonstrate that they've done well academically through GPAs and graduation rates compared to other students that were in the learning community. And this goes for all of our learning communities on campus. We track it every year, and the purpose is that we continue bettering our program. So every year we look at feedback from students, we look at research on learning communities, academic success, and building connections through community, and we keep changing our program a little bit every year to make sure we are improving it. So those students that are staying in the program are getting, the needs that they have supported as far as, how they're doing academically and personally. Here's just a few more photos from some of our events that we've had with SAGE. And as I mentioned, like the cultural dinner we have every year, that is that top left photo. That was some of our academic peer coaches last year handing out the food that students made. And then we've had the Stone Lab trip, which is on that far right when they were on the boat. The students had mud on their faces because they were able to get some of that mud that was, I guess, really good for your skin, and they decided to put it on their faces. So that was a lot of fun. And then just some other gatherings that we've had over the past year. So now we're going to get into our SAGE courses and a little bit more about what that looks like. Each of the courses that you are enrolled in are general education courses that fulfill requirements for your degree. We have you take courses together. That way you're building that community with the faculty, the staff, and your peers within the program. And then the faculty that we choose to be a part of our programs all have some sort of relation or purpose for being in that program. We know that they're going to help you be successful, they want you to be successful, and the learning community they are in, they believe in the mission. In fall semester, you're going to take Introduction to Environmental Science. You should all be enrolled in that with a lab. It's 3 credit hours. It's a GE for Natural Sciences, and then you'll have Dr. Stottlemyre for that course. It's Mondays and Wednesdays, 11:10 to 12:30. There is a lab that is an additional credit. It's an online lab, so it works in between all your schedules that you'll also be enrolled in as well. And then Arts and Sciences is our group studies course. It's 1 credit hour. It counts as an elective course. It is a requirement for all students in SAGE. I will be the instructor for that course, and it's Wednesdays 9:35 to 10:30. So for the Arts and Science course, I do want to mention, like, we have it for the full year. It changes in curriculum for fall to spring semester. So fall semester, we're going to be talking about how to get involved on campus, building yourself as a college student, different resources that you can take advantage of, and then building the community within the classroom. If you have ever been involved in some sort of club or organization that requires you to meet weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, this is kind of that SAGE meeting time that we have. So instead of me scheduling time outside of classes or requiring you to come in the afternoon and working around people's work schedules, we give you a credit hour and make it into a course. That way it fits into your schedule. So that is the purpose of it. In spring semester, it'll change, and I'll get more into what that looks like as well. In the spring, we will have you take Sociology 1101. It's 3 credit hour course, and it counts for social science and behavioral science. It's with Dr. Espinosa, who goes by Victor. And then you'll take Arts and Sciences again. It's 1 credit hour. It's an elective course again. I'll be the instructor as well, so you'll have me for a full year. And then during the spring semester, we're going to be focusing a lot on how to apply for your major if you're transitioning to Columbus campus, getting you support for that, as well as if you plan on staying at the newer campus, what your next year is going to be like. We do career development and getting you prepared for resumes, looking for internships or other opportunities that'll help build your major and your resume. So this is Dr. Amy Stottlemyre. I'm not going to read her entire bio. She does go by Dr. Amy, but feel free to pause this or read it on our website, u.osu.edu/SAGE. It is under your faculty, but she has a great bio. She's awesome to work with, and I think you all will really enjoy having her during the fall semester. And then this is Dr. Victor Espinosa. He goes by Victor, so feel free to call him that. This is his bio. Like I said on the last slide, if you want to pause it and feel free to read through it, it's a good bio. Or you can also go to our website and read it under your faculty as well. And that's u.osu.edu/SAGE. I actually had Victor as a student when I was here, and he was great. He really does a number to make sure he is keeping students on track and working around any conflicts you might have and making sure you understand the material. So lastly, this is your SAGE agreement. If you want to scan this QR code, copy the link. It's also on our website, and you should have been sent an email with it. But we will need this done before the first week of classes ends, and then if you don't complete it, we'll make sure that you do it. Basically, it's just saying you agree to be in the learning community, understand that you'll be registered for the classes, and you plan on talking with staff and faculty and engaging with your peers as well. Before I go to the next slide, I do want to offer a piece of advice coming into your first year. I forgot to mention it on our last slide, but if you do not have a planner of some sorts, whether that is an app on your phone, the calendar app on your phone, or an actual physical planner that you're planning on writing in, make sure you get one before the first week of classes start. I think it's going to be extremely important for procrastination and time management, making sure you don't procrastinate. And then during the first week, when you receive all your syllabi for the, all your classes, sit down, spend a little bit, like an hour, 2 hours, writing in your class times or, typing in those class times into an app, and any study times that you plan on doing, work times that you have, and also just any assignments, projects, and all those deadlines. This will kind of help you keep a good time management plan before the semester starts getting, a little bit more busy during the second week. That way, when each week you need to update your schedule, it'll only take a little bit because you've already put in those class times, projects, all of those other things that you need for the semester. Then this is your SAGE Group Me QR code that you'll need to scan. You are required to join this. This is pretty much, I know students are not always checking their emails, so if I want to send a quick message out, reminder, important, deadline, event, reminder, things like that, I can quickly send it to you instead of sending out a mass email. It'll also allow you to send me quick messages if you just have a quick question and don't want to send an email, and engage with your peers or academic peer coaches as well. So you'll either scan this, copy the link below, or it's also listed on our website, which I already mentioned on the past slide, and then you should receive it in an email. If you're not enrolled in the GroupMe or have the agreement completed by the first week, I'll make sure I connect with you. And then the last to-dos, and then we have our one more slide after this. So turn in your SAGE agreement, join the GroupMe, complete your FRS, so financial responsibility statement if you haven't already done that, attend the summer social event, which is Thursday, July 20th from 5 to 7:30 in McConnell Hall, and then ask questions and reach out to your LC staff and faculty. So I mean it when I say, connect with us. I have students reach out to me all the time. I see our office as that go-to when you don't really know what you need to do next. We've had students reach out to figure out, what's good to eat around the Newark campus, or even something as simple as, I need to change my windshield wiper blades. Where do I find them and how do I replace them on my car? So really, when I say reach out to us for anything, whatever is going to make your life easier during your first year, we're here to help. But that will be all. So I thank you all for tuning in and listening to our information session online. If you weren't able to attend the in-person one, my email is more.3541@osu.edu. Please don't email the @buckeyemail.osu.edu account because that's my student account. I don't always receive that in a timely fashion. My phone number is 740-755-7881, but preferred method is either email or GroupMe, so please feel free to do that. And then one last note is just from now on, since you are officially an Ohio State student, you cannot email me from your personal email account because I will not be able to reply to that due to FERPA to protect your rights. So please make sure you're only sending messages from your Buckeye Mail account. But that is all. I really look forward to getting to know all of you over this next year, and feel free to reach out to me with any questions you have.